We're up to 17 folks. We have a full roster, so we'll just give it a few minutes. I know it's Monday morning, 9 a.m., and so folks are still trying to figure out, is my classroom up? Is like Canvas up? Where do I find the link? We'll just give folks a few minutes to get settled in. All right, no problem, Alexandra, excuse me. While we're waiting, if you could do me a favor and just drop your major in the chat, that'll get some ice breaking going on here. I'd love to know what your major is, what your discipline is. That helps me to understand kind of what your connection to mass communication is. Feel free to just drop it in the chat for us. Woo woo, COMM Studies. All right, Patrick, welcome, my friend. It's good to have you back. All right. We've got another COMM Studies from, is it Dayan? Is that how you say your name? Awesome. Larissa, COMM Studies, Wiki, Communication, Sky, Lisbeth, Communication, yes. All right, I see some journalism in here. I see speech language pathology, COMM Studies, English, poli-sci, but with a focus on COMM and hopes of going into journalism. I love that. Film, pre-vet, okay, that's kind of on the left field, but I love it. We're gonna definitely fold you in. It doesn't really matter what your major is. Mass communication cuts across all of the disciplines. You're definitely gonna be able to use mass communication in any of these disciplines. All right, I love that so many of you all are COMM Studies because, you know, I'm a communication professor, so I welcome you to COMM Studies. If you haven't had me before, I'm Dr. Hastings. Everyone calls me Doc. Feel free to call me Doc. Mrs. Hastings is my mom. Ms. Hastings is my sister. I'm Dr. Hastings. It took me 10 years to get that doctorate. Y'all can call me Doc to make it interpersonal, but I definitely want to be called the name that I want to be called. And you can let me know what name you want to be called as well. I'm going to respect that. And you can do that just by changing the name on your Zoom room handle. If you know how to do that, you can click the top 3 buttons at the top of your video box, and then just click rename, and you can put the name that you want to be called on your screen. And that way we know what to call you, and everyone can respect one another. If you're comfortable putting your pronouns out there, I definitely invite you to do that as well. She, her, hers for me. All right. So first thing I want to do is I really just want to get to know you all. And so I have a little icebreaker that I want to do. I'm going to share my screen. We can use the chat to help us gather our answers here. And for a few of y'all out there, I know you've seen a couple of these questions, but since we're starting mass communication, most of these questions are around how we communicate with one another in a digital world. And I want to know a little bit more about what communication strategies and what communication tools you use so that we can have a really exciting, creative, innovative class over the next 8 weeks. So tell me in the chat here, what do you prefer the most? Reading, writing, speaking, photography, film, audio? What's your jam, right? What do you want to actually make and create along the way? All right, we got a couple C's and a couple F's up there. So speaking and audio, which kind of go hand in hand. We've got some writing and some speaking. We have some audio, some more writing, film and audio. Love it. I love the combination. Like I like to do all of these things kind of in this order. Share with me, feel free to unmic. You can volunteer. I'm not going to pick on anyone, but share with me your reason for why you put the answer that you put in the chat. Let's hear from 2 or 3 people.
Can I go?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna turn my camera on too.
That's awesome. Who's this that word? There we go.
I'm Wiki. Hi.
Welcome.
I chose CNF because I like to speak and I feel very comfortable talking, and audio because me and my close friend are working on a podcast right now. So it's really just like putting the two together right there, like you said, they go together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so excited that you said like you already started a podcast. That's one of the new kind of activities and assignments that is an option for you in this class. And so if that's your jam, lean into it. Like, let's make sure that we go ahead and we create content that we want to create in the class. Thanks, Wiki. Who else would like to share?
I can go.
Absolutely.
I chose film and writing because I have had a heavy like theater musical influence. And at the moment, one of my best friends just opened his own musical production company. So I've been helping him like help write music and film like just a few different aspects. So that's pretty interesting.
I love it. My daughter has been walking around singing like, you know, the Bruno song from Encanto for the last month, you know.
That's what's stuck in my head.
I love it. And theater and writing and film, again, they're all intersectional, right? This is an interdisciplinary kind of class that you're going to be, you've entered. You can pull on all your kind of creative juices to help you navigate this class. And you'll see that, I hope, you know, you'll see that we have a lot of creative, you know, opportunities here. There are definitely going to be some objectives that I want us to hit. But mostly I want us to explore our own creativity because as we create messages, we want to make sure that those messages are effective moving forward. Whatever profession that you're aiming to go into, someone is using communication, you're going to be interacting with people, you're going to be persuading people, you're going to be giving small presentations. And so let's be effective in terms of the stories we tell, the messages we put together, especially if we're aiming to do something on a large scale, on a public scale to the masses, not just to small groups, but to the masses. All right, here's another question for you. It might seem kind of odd, but just think about it here. And then write in the chat, which one of your senses, if you had to lose one, which one would it be and why? Would it be your smell? Would it be sight? Would it be touch? Would it be taste? Would it be hearing? All of these are ways in which we exchange messages, create messages, share messages. Whoa, smell is up there. Get rid of the smell, Doc. Good. Smell because it wouldn't affect me as much as the others. Smell, taste, smell, definitely touch. All right, taste, smell. All right. Someone said hearing. Okay, so for those of you who said smell, somebody tell me why they put smell out there. Dan, I'm gonna pick on you because you put a deeper explanation here. Why did you say smell?
I said smell because like with eyesight and hearing, those are pretty crucial to like a lot of things. Taste, just because I mean you can taste everything. I guess you can try out everything and you wouldn't taste anything. And touch, just because I don't know, touch wasn't really a factor that I saw with like it's still an important role to me. Smell is just something that isn't really crazy to me. You can still breathe, so.
Got it. I feel like I could never get rid of my smell because I'm a total foodie. All right, I eat with my eyes, I eat with my nose, I want to smell it. I want to get all the like different flavors coming in. It's like, oh no. But then I also feel like each one of these impacts us differently. Some of us are tactile learners. We like to touch things. We like to work with manipulatives. Right now I'm homeschooling 3 children, you know, so pre-K and all the way to 4th grade is where we're at. We're working a lot with our hands and manipulatives and making things so that, you know, we internalize it because it's the action of doing that gets us to understand things. And that's kind of what this question is geared at. You know, which one of these things could you toss out and still kind of like get what you need out there, right? Because the first form of, you know, human communication that we had was literally like what we had on our body. We used our 5 senses to be able to make sense of the world, all right? And from there, we developed language. So then words became, you know, oral storytelling became the next mode. And we're gonna talk a little bit about, you know, a shortened version of communication history. I'll show you where I put that in our first module. I love technology. You'll learn that I love tools. And so if you had to get one of these had to go, which one of these companies would it be and why? Feel free to drop it in the chat. Charlie, you're breaking my heart. All right.
I work for Whole Foods, so
Yes.
I have an extra level of unsavory opinion of Amazon.
I'm totally open to the criticism of Amazon. It's just been far too easy to get what I need through this pandemic using Amazon. So I need to buy stock in them or something. I saw a lot of folks say Microsoft. What's the reason behind Microsoft can get the boot?
Same reason I'd get rid of Apple's, because I don't own any Apple products.
Wow.
Probably.
Woo.
You know, if you only own Apple products, I assume you'd get rid of Microsoft.
It is all Apple and Alexa in my household. Alexa, where's my kids? All right. Nice.
Well,
How
all the other companies except for really Microsoft are also developing a lot of their own ways to combat with like the new world. So like Google has Google Docs and Google's like the school and everything. Everyone's using it. No one uses Microsoft.
And Google also bought YouTube, right?
Google owns YouTube.
There you go.
All right. Microsoft, I think, is a little bit inconspicuous because we pretty much use it every day, right? If you use Word products or Excel products, probably not for you, Alexandra, I see your head shaking no, but for me, like I use those tools every single day just for productivity. Right? They're not my social creative tools. That's Apple for me. Apple is all creativity, all kind of figuring out how to make things look pretty on the page. That combined with Adobe, you know, those are my jams. But I think, I don't remember who said this out there, but Amazon and Google, and I think Microsoft too, they all have their own classes and you can get certificates from them to learn how to use those tools in a professional way. And so regardless of which one you said, I gotta go for my own ethical reasons, all of these companies have like negatives and positives to them. Each of them have their own kind of little universities that you can log into and say, hey, I can get a certificate in how to use this particular aspect of Amazon Web Services, right? I saw that pop up, they're free classes, and I was like, wait, what's going on here? You can get a certificate for that? I'm curious about what your favorite way to communicate is. I got an immediate phone call, text, phone call, text, phone call, text, email, text, phone call or text. Good, awesome. Love it. Chris threw in the face-to-face. I need to see you in person. Yes, don't call me. I don't want to talk to you. Like text me, email me, I'll meet you in a Zoom room. Like, but my job is communication. So I talk to people on an everyday basis. And sometimes it's just like, if you text me, I'll text you back. Or maybe not, because that's the beauty of text messages, right? Awesome. On a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable are you using technology? There is this myth out there that just because we have smartphones and lots of digital tools at our hands, like, you know, readily available, you know, that we should be good at it or we should know automatically. I don't make that assumption. I've been teaching online for over 10 years now. And so I know that if I ask you all to use a certain digital tool, I'm also going to show you how to use that digital tool. Please know that you could put 0 on this like scale right here, and I would be perfectly okay with that. My goal is to make sure that you just elevate from where you're at with the tools that I've provided. If you're like 9, 8, 9, 10 over here, and you're pretty tech savvy like Scott, but you don't know everything, I appreciate that. I'm the same way. I've offered you tools that I know can get you through our assignments, but maybe you have another tool that you know can make the same kind of content that I'm looking for. Use what's most comfortable for you, right? But also know that the tools that I've put out there are free. There's no expectation that you need to pay for any of these websites or these tools. And I've given you tutorials to make sure that you know how to use the tool and you can work through that on your own. I don't expect perfection at all. There are certain, you know, learning objectives that I want to make sure that we all hit. But by no means am I expecting you all to be tech gurus. That's not what this class is about. This class is about exploration. It's about exposure to different types of tools and figuring out what works for you, and how you might be able to use that in the profession that you're going forward in. Welcome, Julian. We're good to have you. Now we know that millennials use up to 9 social media platforms. That means that, like, it's downloaded on their smartphones. They're actively using these accounts on an everyday basis. Let me know, what social media platforms do you like to use? Insta, Tumblr, Pinterest, Insta is an immediate favorite I can see. Pinterest, TikTok. TikTok is very addicting. Like, I have to be very careful how often I log on. We see more Insta, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat. Love it. Love it. It's clear to me that we all use some type of social media. Some of us maybe more than others, in terms of the favorites that are being listed here. Know that social media is going to be a part of our conversation. I'll show you how to create content that can be used on social media. Does that mean that I'm going to have you actively use social media? No, I respect your privacy, right? If you want to make an account and put your stuff out there, I'm happy to facilitate, guide, offer tips along the way. But for the most part, I'm looking more at the content creation aspect of social media and the business value of who's using social media and why you might make use of it in your own lives, right? Rather than let's actually actively use social media. There's a lot of privacy issues that are involved in that. And so just know that I respect your privacy on that end. Now, I asked this a little bit differently with these 4 companies. Here's a totally different question than which one had to go. If you had to work for one of these companies, which one would it be and why? And you can feel free to unmic and share your thoughts. I'm curious. Google is getting a lot of love here. Amazon, more Google. I love it, Chris. Your uncle works there and has a sweet house. Absolutely, that's goals. So the vast majority of folks did say Google. Was there a specific motivation, reason other than having a role model who works at Google?
I feel like Amazon and Apple. I'm kind of excluding Microsoft from the conversation. I didn't even consider Microsoft. I think it's a dying company. But Amazon and Apple, they've had more problems with their workforce, especially that we've seen in news with like mistreatment of workers, more so than Google has. Absolutely. You saw actually a lot of this at the beginning of the pandemic with Amazon, with workers going on strike. And we know that international work conditions for Apple has been under the hot fire over the last couple of years. I
think another thing is that Google's been out there for like a while and it hasn't had as many issues. And as Alexandra said, I know one of my friends who works for Amazon and my godfather works for Amazon and he doesn't really like it up there just because of the way they treat him.
I know maybe some of you all have heard about the great quit, the great work, everybody's quitting right now. I forget the exact language that they use, but there's a large part of our workforce that is quitting. And many people are like, maybe it's the pandemic. And I read an article that said, it's actually toxic work environments. And so we're going to talk later on in the semester about, what brands are doing to create, relationships with social justice and to build digital communities and how they're making sure that they connect with their target audiences and kind of build up a good reputation and a good rapport. Because you don't really want to have on one end saying, my uncle works for Amazon, it's great because like they have a great house. Meanwhile, he also hates his job because it's such a toxic work environment, right? Like trying to find the sweet spot in between would be really great. So my curiosity, what do you all use to create content? Are there any like apps that you use? Are there any programs that you use? Are you planning on just using your cell phone, your device? This class doesn't require you to have, a plethora of tools. You really could get away with just your cell phone, a webcam, the websites that I offer that have free accounts. You'll be perfectly fine. Computer's great. Computer, cell phone, laptop, great. Love it. Awesome. Yeah, iPhone. Just ordered the third. That's on my list. Okay, is that Dahlia? Did I say your name right?
Yeah, it's Dalila.
Dalila, thank you. Dalila, you and I are on the same page. I've been scoping the 13 Pro like,
Yeah.
I'm ready for upgrade. Great. Love it. MacBook Pro and cell phone. Your cell phone, your smartphone, can you tell me in the chat like what type of phone you use? No judgment. Like if you have a flip phone, there's no judgment, right? If you're still working with like, that, it is all good. But what kind of smartphone do you use? I'm curious. iPhone 11. Right now I have an iPhone 10, so I'm looking for that upgrade. Good. Awesome. I see lots of iPhones out there.
The iPhone 10 was the best one. The other ones aren't as great.
It's still perfect. I'm still going to keep it even if I get a new one. It takes great images, great videos. Love it. Yes, the home button though. Yes. Charlie, way to represent with Samsung, my friend. Love it. All of this to say that if you all are working with these phones, Samsung and or these iPhones, they all have amazing camera capabilities, whether it's video, whether it's photos. And so use what you have. All right. There's no need to go out there and run out and buy a whole lot of stuff. I designed this class to be zero text costs. There's no textbook. If there's a resource that I need to give you, I provided it for you. I create a lot of my workbooks and handbooks. And so you'll have everything that you need to be able to get through the class successfully. You'll notice in the course tools, I'll show you that in a few minutes. I've given you links for the things that would be on my wish list that I think would be easy for a budding creator. And so all of them are under $15. They're all optional and just recommendations. None of them are requirements in terms of you being able to do what you need to do. If you don't have a tripod, prop it up on some books. There's no judgment from me, right? I'm curious. And you can either put this in the chat. I'm also happy to hear from a couple folks by just unmiking. What do you hope to gain from taking mass communication? What encouraged you or inspired you to enroll in the class?
I'll go. So I'm a political science major, but yes, my hope is to go into journalism. And when I met with like the academic advisors, they're like, well, if you really want to be on like the front lines of journalism, it's better to have credentials in what you want to talk about rather than like communications media, which would be more like being an editor and stuff like that. And my hope is to work for like NPR. I'm like an avid KPBS listener. I grew up in New York, so I was a listener originally. But I guess like a course like this, it's more like, so I want to like be able to talk about things, and then it's like dissemination of information. Like, so once I have information, how do I disseminate that through media sources?
You're in the right place. Even though we don't have, like journalism is not proper, in the communication, department that we have here. All of the tools and the skills that you'll learn in the class will definitely help you get where you need to be in terms of a skill set that you'll use as a journalist in a digital world, right? And so there's a whole section where we'll talk about blogging and about strategies for, increasing your target audience, and you'll get to understand a little bit more about how journalism has expanded beyond print. right? Now, when you log on to any type of blog, it's not just the text of the story that you see, but it's the multimedia kind of content that they've embedded within the actual text to help you be interactive and engaged within that. And so it's really exciting that you're here, because my jam is content creation. I think y'all know that by now. I said it like 15 times, like content creation, like that's my jam. And so I asked you at the beginning, what kind of audio, film, writing, speaking. I asked you that question because you'll get to do all of that. All right. And the stuff that you're good at, you'll get to do and you'll make it great. And the stuff that you're not so good at, you'll get some more exposure and some more practice, and hopefully you'll get a little bit better, right? But you'll get an exposure to a little bit of all of it. Good. I see some others coming in here. Sky said, I want to be more fond of the variety of communication strategies. Absolutely. Dan said, better understanding of the way that we communicate. Absolutely. We're going to get some of that in here. Scott said, most of the work I do already involves with interacting with people face to face. Hold on. I lost you there. And via text. I'm hoping I can improve upon my skills. Absolutely. Jacqueline said, to feel more comfortable speaking in front of large groups and improving my skills when it comes to making connections. There's a whole section in here on public speaking. I know that not all of us are comfortable with public speaking, but we should all be exposed to strategies so that we can do it well. So I have a Master the Minute activity that you're going to get from me in any class that you take, but it's a different challenge depending on the class that you take. So our Master the Minute challenge really is focused on how do we communicate in a digital space in only 1 minute at a time, right? And that's something that we should pay attention to, because companies like Instagram have made that like the norm. That 1 minute kind of like elevator speech has now come into, okay, this is what we see when we're scrolling through the Instagram newsfeed. John said, film major, filmmaking is all about mass communication. It absolutely is, and storytelling. Larissa said, to be able to provide a clear and straight communication to the public. Absolutely. Dalila said, this is my first communication course. All right, I'm excited to learn more and be more comfortable with speaking up and out to people. I love it. Chris, you run an Instagram page. You got my heart right there. And I'm sure I'd benefit by understanding mass communication more fully. Absolutely. This class is definitely going to help with that. Aaliyah said, I'm also a journalism major. It's really significant to get comfortable communicating through media since we have largely switched over from traditional news media. This should hopefully give me the tools. That is 100% why I love teaching mass communication. My bachelor's degree is in journalism. I thought that I was going to be a freelance magazine writer, and the world just didn't unfold that way. I do a lot of writing and a lot of publishing, but it's definitely more academic. And I went from journalism into communication, into speech communication. And so my area of focus is performance and cultural studies. I'm interested in how people perform their cultural identities. I love storytelling. I'm a public speaker. I've spoken all over the place, including internationally. And so mass communication for me is a way to kind of bring all the things that I love together. And then put that digital spin on it, because I love technology, like I said to you all. Okay. And then Savannah said, better with public speaking and better at digital creativity. I love it. You all are all in the right place. And I hope that you're excited about joining the class. So I'm gonna stop sharing this here and just switch over. Do we have any thoughts before I switch over and show you our Canvas classroom? Any thoughts, any questions? All righty. Then let's take a look at some of our more logistics. And if you do have any thoughts or questions, Gracie, thanks for putting yours here too. She said, to further understand the ways in which we communicate on a larger scale, as well as enhancing my communication skills. Also a comm major, so this class will hopefully allow me to gain the necessary skills to progress my future career. 100% love it. Hopefully you all have already logged into our COMM220 class on Canvas. It opened late last night, and I'm a person who likes simplicity. And so if you need something in Canvas, just click home. And then it'll take you to all the modules, and the modules will be released weekly. Normally, I would already have everything uploaded, but I needed to make some tweaks. And so nothing is visible on your end yet. It will become visible throughout the week, and then you'll see when it will become unlocked. It'll go on your calendar, so everything will be nice and neat. I don't know about you all, but last week was a little crazy for me. We had a COVID exposure, and so we've been quarantining. I have 3 homeschool kids plus another friend's child staying with us. As a single mom, it's been overwhelming. So bear with me. All the materials will become available to you within the next couple of days. I know that I like having things on hand, so I'm gonna make sure you have things on hand as well. Okay. The first thing I recommend that you do is just click on the Hi Doc message. It gives you the information about when I'm going to be available to you. I tried to make that easy as well. I'm here from, we're in class from 9 o'clock to 10:15, and this should actually say 10:15 to 11:15 would be my digital office hours for you. So I'll make sure that that is updated, but I wanted to just make sure that when class ended, I still hung out. And so if anybody wanted to hang out and just chat or had questions or needed some extra kind of tutorial time, that I was available for you all. So you can expect that the hour after our class, I'm going to be available. If that hour is not good for you, please know that I try to make myself accessible. So just drop me a message. Using the Canvas email system is the best way to make contact with me. It tells me what class you're in when it sends it to my email. And that way I know more specifically about who I'm working with and what materials I'm working with. Email me through Canvas, and then we can set up a time to just log on to a Zoom and talk about the things that we need to talk about. Okay. I said already, please call me Doc. And so I put that there too. You can click on the syllabus here. I added the live link for you all. We'll talk a little bit more about the highlights of the syllabus, but this is really our contract between one another. It's the expectations that you all should have for what you're going to get in the class. It's what I've designed and aim to provide throughout the class. And it has pretty much all the things that you need to know to successfully get through the class, including kind of the best ways to get caught up if you get behind. And I'll talk about that when I spotlight that in just a second. The link here on the live Zoom class, when you register today, it gives you access to all 8 of our classes. So you only have to register once, and the link is there for you. In the digital workflow module, it'll walk you through the content that we're going to use in this class, the tools that we're going to use in this class. There's a short little video here, but the list here also gives you a pretty good idea of what we're going to use. And then, like I said, I've given you a couple of links that take you to simple recommendations that are all reasonably priced. These are tools that I have used before, so I know they work well for novice creators. If you're a little bit more of an expert and you have your own tools, I've seen my students log on to their videos fully teched out. I love it. Use what you have, but I've also given you my recommendations here too. You will need to have a YouTube account. You will need to have an account with canva.com, which is a presentation making website. And then if you don't have Adobe PDF Interactive Reader, there's a free download here. And so make sure you have that. We're going to be using these workbooks that you can actually write in. And so Adobe is the best tool to actually read those. Information about you and YouTube is here as well. If you don't have a YouTube channel, don't panic. All you need is a Gmail account, and you will be able to create a free YouTube account. And there's a tutorial here and information on how to actually do that. And so you should be able to create an account really easily and create a playlist. That's going to be our main objective. In week 2 is you'll create a video playlist with our Master the Minute challenge. And so going ahead, opening up a YouTube account now, kind of, tweaking around on the back end would definitely be beneficial. One question I know that folks have with assignments is what should my video presentation speeches look like? The most important thing for me is that I see you. especially during the Master the Minute where we're working on oral presentation. I want to be able to see a visual of your embodied kind of performance on camera. And so make sure that you're spotlighted. I've had some students before who've just given me submitted voiceovers and audio. That's a different kind of assignment. When we talk about doing like, a podcast series, then you can totally use audio. But for the video speeches, I really need to see you so that I can assess your nonverbals as well as your verbals in action. That being said, this is mass communication. And so your creativity with multimedia is encouraged. And so after we do the Master the Minute challenge, you can totally lean into your creativity as filmmakers, as multimedia folk, as novice creators, just kind of trying to figure it out, and tell the stories the way that you need to tell them. That might mean that you're not in the actual story. That's okay. We'll talk about this a little bit more with each specific assignment, but just know that you've got lots of room for creativity here. If you live in a shared household, like I live in a shared household, then don't panic if you're shooting a video and like your brother walks in and starts picking up something in the back of the room. Just keep going and keep pushing through. If you want to stop and start over on your end, that's fine. I won't judge you. But I'm also not going to judge you if your toddler decides that they want to be picked up in the middle of your presentation and you keep pushing through. I'm okay with that because that's my life. I already said I'm a single mother of 3 children, and so I'm surprised my 4-year-old hasn't busted into the door already. At some point, he probably will do that. So just know that I respect your family environment. I respect your speaking situation. Do your best to try to find a quiet location to be able to shoot and record, but make it work, right? A good presentation is a done presentation. I don't know if you've seen this video here, but I love this video. At some point in your life, your presentation might go like this.
Scandals happen all the time. The question is, how do democracies respond to those scandals?
And what will it mean for the wider region? I think one of your children has just walked in. I mean, shifting sands in the region. Do you think relations with the North may change?
I would be surprised if they do. Pardon me. My apologies.
This is going to happen at some point in your life, right? You're going to be trying to give like a really professional presentation. This guy is on the BBC News and his toddler and his infant and his wife all bust in trying to like, whatever they're doing. Like, it's bound to happen. There's no judgment. You do have an assignment this week. I want to get to know you a little bit better. And I also want to introduce you to our Canva website. So I'm going to ask you to make a selfie meme for me. And ultimately, what I'm calling a meme is just a visual graphic, right? Canva has, I'll open up my Canva here so that you can see. Canva is a presentational website where you can make a ton of different types of presentations. If you haven't used Canva before, I love Canva, 1, because it's free, and 2, because it's super user-friendly, and 3, because they have a ton of photos, GIFs, little like things that you can put on your presentations that are free for you. Yes, there is a pro account. No, I'm not requiring you to actually purchase the pro account. You can do everything that we are required to do in this class using the free account. Now, this is a professional website. Businesses use this website. So that being said, it's an 8-week course. A monthly subscription is only $12.95. If you're trying to use the pro content and you like really like that image, but it's only for the pro, I don't know, like weigh your budget. If you want to lean in and purchase it for a month and use the content that you want to use, I think it's worth it. I have the pro account, but I use Canva every single day. And so it's, again, just a recommendation, put a tip out there so you know that it's available, but it's totally not a requirement. When you do open your account for your selfie meme, I'm looking for the Instagram post. This is the square one. So when you click on it and you have a blank template, it's going to look like a box. That's the one that I'm looking for. Okay. And from the box here, you can start to add any of the elements, text, textual writing. You can upload photos if you want to upload your selfie. A self-portrait is definitely one that we're going to be using on this assignment. And so That's there too. Let's go back to the actual instructions here. Here's the information on how to log into Canva. Looking for that 1-to-1 aspect ratio, i.e. a box. Okay. There's a real quick under 2-minute tutorial. It's a hyperlapse video of me making some content using Canva. And so you can definitely click on that. Like I said, it's less than 2 minutes, but it'll kind of give you a quick guideline of how I use the different tools on the site to be able to make my content. And there are 4 pieces of information that I'm looking for. I'm looking for a picture of you, a selfie as your cover pic. You can use it as your background. I'm looking for you to add a title, and that title should describe who you are as a person, right? It could be a song title if you want, if there's a song that you feel that represents you, or you can totally make the title up if you like. And then I'm also looking for 3 song titles, real or imagine, describing one thing that you're really good at, one thing that you're not so good at, and one thing that you want to work on or get better. And then you can put your first name. You don't have to worry about putting your last name on there. Your first name should be fine. Okay. Once you're done with your meme, I'm going to ask you to shoot a 1-minute video just explaining the meme to us. Tell us who you are. Tell us the inspiration behind your album cover meme, and keep it simple. Don't overthink it. It's just a 1-minute introduction to the class of who you are. And then you can go ahead and post your meme and your video to the discussion board. There is information here that asks you to embed your content. Embedding your content, your meme and your video makes it easy for us. There's 30 people in the class. If you had to click through, if each person put 2 links on theirs, one to the meme and one to the video, that's 60 different clicks that we have to click on to be able to review your work. And so if you embed it, we don't have to actually click on all those links and see those extra tabs open. It just makes it really easy for us to kind of scroll and troll and click and watch and scroll and troll and click and watch. Right? I love this assignment. If you've taken me before, several of you have taken me before, you know that we've had different variations of the selfie meme introduction and video assignment come up before. And so do y'all have any questions about what the instructions are, what the expectations for this assignment are? Love to answer any questions so that there's no confusion along the way. All right.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So for the meme, all that's listed, like the titles and all that, is that all writing on top of a selfie of us?
You got it. That should be text.
Just making sure.
Yep. Great question. All righty. So after we've done like kind of our digital workflow and we had our little selfie meme introduction, you can go ahead and jump right into the foundations of mass communication. I reintroduce us. Some of us may already be familiar with the communication process model. I reintroduce us to the communication process, and I put just this little simple infographic here that helps us to understand how communication is a transaction. Right? It's something that is actively active and engaging, right? You have a sender who has a message, they figure out what channel they want to deliver that message in to a specific receiver. There's some feedback that goes on. Maybe there's a little bit of noise that gets in the way there, but it's transactional, right? It's you give a little, you get a little, you give a little, you get a little. So this here is just kind of the information about how the model works and a visual aid of what's happening in the model. And what I want you to do also using Canva is create your own model of what the communication process might look like, right? There's no right or wrong in terms of the speaking situation or the communication situation, as long as you have all of the parts of the model. So you need to have a sender, you need to have a receiver, you need to have a message that is being sent back and forth, the channel, which is the medium, which could be a newspaper, it could be an email, it could be a film, whatever is delivering that message to the receiver would be the channel. And some context. Tell us the setting of the environment, what kind of feedback is happening, and is there any noise, either internal noise or external noise that might be interfering with the message, right? Internal noise might be sitting here thinking, did I turn the stove off? Like, oh my goodness, like, did I get my test results back for that COVID test yet? Oh, it's all running in your head. It's psychological. Whereas external noise might be somebody mowing my lawn, right, outside, and it's super loud as I'm giving a webinar presentation. It's interfering with the message itself, right? The goal here is for you to be able to create a visual aid of what the communication process looks like. And that way we get lots of different visual representations of what this model is like, right? Don't overthink it. Both the selfie meme and this particular assignment are both credit, non-credit. And so if you do it and you have all the parts to it, I'm going to give you full credit. That's the kind of professor I am. I'm really not nitpicky about points. Like, I'm about the process of learning and growing. So as long as you hit all the little factors, you know, that are required of the assignment, you're going to get full credit. If there's something missing, or if it wasn't done correctly, I might give you no credit and ask you to revise it, because that's how we get better, right? I give you some feedback, you return it in, and then you get your full credit, just like we always expected, okay? So know that I'm with you 100% on the grading part. I try to work with a credit, no credit. Let's give you some feedback, and then we'll actually do some revision if it's necessary. As long as everyone's meeting the learning objectives, I'm fine with where we are. If at any point you have questions about grades, your grade in particular, you can always ask me, and we can meet and get together to talk about it. This is a brief annotated history of communication across time, right? We have communicated in lots of different ways throughout human history, from the very great beginning where nothing is really known about communication, through speech making 200,000 years ago, to creating symbols that developed into writing and alphabet. We did snail mail. We sent messages through pigeons. We had maritime flags. Somebody invented the electric telegraph. Then we had the telephone, radio, television, fiber optics, computer networking. Each of us already said we have a cell phone in our pocket. We actively use email. I sent one an hour before the class. The internet is now essential to our work, life, learning, academic growth, experience. Social media networking has become the norm. Folks in here are interested in journalism, so blogging might be on their radar. We're definitely going to have to learn how to use search engines properly. The future is still unfolding. We are actively learning kind of what the future is going to look like and how that's going to work. And so I'm curious to see, what comes out of our class in terms of the content that you'll create and how that will set you up for stepping into what the new technology is going to be moving forward. I love this. This is here. We'll return to this in a later assignment. And so feel free to peruse this on your own. Right? And then this week, if you would be kind enough, there are 2 short articles here on media types and reporting styles. You can click on the links here and it will download a PDF. They're, again, brief articles that give you more of the academic understanding of the type of media outlets that are out there and the different type of reporting styles that are available to you. And after you've read that, then you can kind of click here and sign up for a group. We're going to be working with our peers over the next 2 weeks to be able to grow in our Master the Minute challenge, but also to kind of figure out, as folks who are interested in the same thing, how to get a deeper understanding of what that area of mass communication is. And then we'll share that out with others here. So first you'll read these 2 things, and then you can sign up for a group. This takes you to a Google Doc. Your groups will not be any bigger than 3 to 4 people, please. I don't want them to be oh my goodness, it's so hard for me to communicate with 6 people. Let's make the groups nice and tight so that, we have access to one another, and it might be easy to do a group chat or hop on a live Zoom if necessary, right? So 3 to 4 people. If there are more than 4 people, then you'll just skip down and you'll create a new group. So here's the reporting for print media. If you're interested in print media, then you'll sign up for group 1 here. If there's already 4 people in a group, then you'll sign up for print media and create a new group down here. If you're interested in TV or multimedia video, then you'll use this column. Radio, audio, podcasting, you'll use the 3rd column, and then web, online, social media stuff, you'll use the 4th column. Okay, there should be plenty of room here for you all to make some groups. If for some reason, social media and web online, all of a sudden you have 3 groups already and you need to make a new group, then we can always do that. It should be pretty easy. And so sign up for the type of media that most interests you, and then we'll get more deeper into that. Okay. Any questions about that? All right. That takes us all the way up to the Mass Communication Foundations quiz. And so the quiz is only 15 points. It has 15 questions. It's from the articles that we are exposed to in the annotated history of communication, and I'm sorry, from the media types and reporting styles and the communication process. So you can expect that if we didn't read about it or I didn't introduce it on a previous page, it's not going to be in the quiz. I'm not that type of professor. And so just go through the materials that I provided, take notes. That's probably a good idea. Use them. Keep the windows open. Keep the PDFs open. So if you need to search for the answer, do what you need to do, right? The goal here is for everybody to get 100% credit, right? You could take the quiz twice. And so again, I would prep first before you actually take the quiz. And then if you don't like your score, then take it again and let's see if we can get it maxed out. Okay. That sets us up for the first week of class. And so like I said, over the next couple of days, you're going to see some more content be released. And so you can feel free to introduce yourself to that new content as it becomes available to you all. Just know that I'll make sure that all the highlights and the stuff that are essential need to knows, we'll touch bases again next Monday at 9 a.m. to make sure that everybody is all in line. Sound good? Dan, I see your hand up, my friend.
Yes. So would the next module come up on Sunday, or is it more of a Monday?
This is something that that's a great question. That was one of my syllabus highlights, couple of syllabus highlights that I want to make sure that everybody knows. Our deadlines are always on Friday at midnight, right? Friday at midnight, you can expect that's our deadline. That's when it should get in. Sometimes shit happens. So there's an automatic late extension until Sunday at midnight. You don't need to ask, or you don't need to email and say, Doc, I'm submitting this late. Just go ahead and submit it. There's no point penalty if you need to take this extra 48 hours. So Sunday at midnight is when the link will actually close, okay? Now, if by chance there's some type of emergency where you can't get it in by that Sunday at midnight, that's fine. There's an link at the very bottom of all the modules. It's open now. It will be open all the way up until March 11th of our class. If you miss a deadline and you want to get credit for an assignment, please use the link. That's the most easiest way for me to go back to review your work and then to revise your score, right? So do I accept late work? Absolutely. I mean, stuff happens, y'all. Life is life, right? So absolutely. If you need a couple of extra 48 hours, get it in by that Sunday. If you can't get it in by that Sunday, get it into the link and you can still get some credit along the way. If it hits the link, there's a point penalty. It's 20%. But if it doesn't and you get it in before Sunday, you'll still get full credit. Wiki, I see your hand, my friend.
Hi, sorry, I know this actually sounds really nice and accommodating, but I just want to kind of confirm with you. So in Canvas and in our grades, because I just trying to get things done on time. Get them done on Friday, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just me. I was I don't know which one's actually the due date.
The due dates are always going to come up on Friday on your Canvas calendar.
Okay.
Okay, so on Friday, you'll see the deadline on your Canvas calendar. The link won't close, right? The link won't close until Sunday at midnight. So you'll still have access to the submission link until Sunday at midnight. If that link is locked, don't email me and say, Doc, I want to turn my assignment in. Just submit it to the link. I'll see it. And then when I get some time, I'll go ahead and like review it and then revise it and then put it in the system for you.
Perfect, thank you.
Of course. I try to make things as accommodating as possible, but easy for both you and I. And so I know you heard me just say 3 times, don't email me. I get like hundreds of emails like every day. If you need me, holler at your girl. Let me know. I'm here for you, right? But if it's something like, can I make up an assignment? Yeah, you already have my permission. It's already built in to the actual system so that you won't get behind. As long as you make sure that you're, putting that in, you're going to be good to go. Okay. Another please, and thank you is please do not email me your assignments. I know that like other professors have other, strategies of how they collect things. Some are more lenient than others, but I have a lot of email coming through. I wear a lot of hats at MiraCosta. And so I don't want your homework and what you need to get credit to get lost in the sauce. I would rather you use the link so it's all in one place. You'll see when I've reviewed it because the points will go in on the actual assignment and then it'll click over to complete on your end and you'll see that, okay, Doc's already completed that. I've completed that. I should see the points in my assignment already. If there's a concern or something you're like, doesn't look right, email me, we'll troubleshoot, we'll make sure that we work it out. Those are the 2 big things from the syllabus that I'm like, please and thank you. Like the rest of it, you can go through on your own. It'll tell you about our modules, give you a description of what you're going to learn in each module. It tells you the learning transformations that you'll gain throughout the 8 weeks that we're with one another. And it gives you the resources on MiraCosta. For the first month of class, we are COVID confined. Everybody is online. That doesn't impact this class too much because we were already a synchronous class, but that does mean that our resources, like our writing center, some of our student services, you might have to still go online to be able to make use of those resources. And that's in the syllabus for you as well. Okay. If you are a DSPS student and you have some paperwork for me, please feel free to send that my way. I want to make sure that we make all accommodations as easy as possible for folks. I know that each of us has different learning styles and learning experiences, and so I want to make sure that you are most comfortable in the class along the way. Woo! I feel pretty good. I feel like I touched all my bases. Y'all feel pretty good? Give me a thumbs up with the reaction so I can see that y'all feeling pretty good out there. Love it. Love it. All right, my friends. Okay. Now, in a face-to-face class, I would ask this question on the first day of class. And so in a Zoom live session where my video is on, I will give you the opportunity. We have just a few more minutes here and I'll ask, is there anything that y'all want to know about me? You're going to be working with me for the next 8 weeks. There's probably never going to be another opportunity where I'll be like, yeah, ask me some questions about myself. Let's get personal. Like, what do you all want to know about me? I'm happy to answer any questions.
Hey Doc, I actually had one more question about the class.
Of course.
So just to clarify, if we are turning in all our work by the Friday deadline, are we going to be able to get a head start on the next week over the weekend, or do we get all the information on Mondays?
No, you'll get all the information on Saturdays. So once the module closes on Friday, the new module automatically opens up for you.
Okay, perfect.
Yep,
thank you.
Absolutely. In some cases, as we get later on into the semester, you'll see me release like 2 weeks in advance as well, because I know that the projects will be a little bit more in depth. But I try to give you enough time to where I drip it, so it's not overwhelming, but you get more than enough to work ahead if you need to. Great question. Not personal. I love it.
Do you have any pets?
I do. My dog George is sitting on the floor over here. He was such a good boy and didn't interrupt at all. I resisted for a very long time. My children, I have 3 children. They're more than enough. Like having an animal is like having a whole nother child. But my kids were really, really adamant for the last year about, wanting to get a dog. And so once we got comfortable over Christmas, we adopted a boxer pit bull. He's a year old, and he's a total puppy. He's super cute. I'll try to post a picture to the Canvas classroom so you all can see what my Georgie looks like. He chews on everything, y'all. He's such a toddler.
What college you go to?
Great question. So I started out at Xavier University in New Orleans, which is a historically Black college or university. I spent a year there. It's so interesting. I grew up in California.
It's like kind of muffled.
Uh-oh. Am I kind of muffled? Nope. Okay, maybe that wasn't me. I grew up in California and I'm half Black, half Filipino. My mother's Filipino, my father's Black, and we grew up in a very diverse neighborhood in Sacramento, California. So I went to an HBCU to get the Black experience. I spent a year out there, had the time of my life in New Orleans, kind of learned what adulting was all about. And then I transferred back to Chico State. And so I ended up getting my degree in journalism from Chico State University, which for over 20 years has had the best journalism department, ever. So if you're interested in journalism and you're looking for a college to transfer to, they're still doing really killer stuff at Chico State. That's my alumni. I'm gonna give them as much love as I can. I competed for the speech and debate team out there. I did very well. I competed nationally. I ranked nationally. I love performance, y'all. I was encouraged to get a master's degree. I'm a first generation college student. I grew up on the block. I didn't have any role models. And so I didn't really know what a master's degree was, but a professor said, you should get a master's degree. They paid for it. So I went, I got a master's degree and turned around. Somebody said, you should get a doctorate. And I was like, what's a doctorate? And they were like, let's talk a little bit. So I did my master's at Cal State Long Beach. Long Beach is my favorite city ever. I love Long Beach. I keep trying to get closer and closer back to living in Long Beach. And y'all should know that I live in Texas right now since the pandemic. So I probably have the furthest commute from anyone. Oh, Larissa, yes, you live in Long Beach. I love Long Beach. That was my stomping ground. I had my first apartment on my own in Long Beach. So Long Beach State is definitely, if you're looking at Long Beach State, I still have friends, allies, mentors in their communication department where I got my degree. Dr. Mark Rich encouraged me to get a PhD. So I went out to Southern Illinois University in the middle of nowhere, a small place called Carbondale, which is about 2 hours outside of St. Louis. I learned to respect the deer and nature and turtles, and there was nothing to do with study. And I got my doctorate. It was the best experience and the worst experience. We can talk about why at another time. I probably would have spread it out a little bit instead of going straight through just for my own mental health. I think your generation has a little bit more awareness about how to do things healthily and joyously. We just pushed it on through and went straight through. And that was very, very hard. But at the end, it was definitely worth it because for the last 18 years or so, I've been in higher education, teaching and sharing my gift with others. And I love it. I've been at MiraCosta since 2018. I'm tenured, so we're married. I'm not going anywhere. They got a great retirement program. And so since most of you are majors, know that I'm here to help you all figure out what the next step is after MiraCosta. That was a great question, Patrick. Thank you. Right. Love it. I see some folks who want to transfer to Long Beach. I got another Blasian in the house, Jacqueline. Yes. We're gonna love this. I'm Filipino, Chris, and Black. So Filipino food, Asian food for me is life, so living in Texas is so hard right now because there's no authentic Asian cuisine out here. It's all knockoff, which means that I have to make my own stuff. But you can give me lumpia and pancit and rice any day. I'm happy with that. I'll order me a loco moco. It will be good. That's my favorite food in terms of, if I have my choice and I'm ordering out, I'm probably looking for Asian food. I don't know because, yes, I should say yes, Savannah. I have moved to Texas fully. And I say I don't know because, like I said, I'm married to MiraCosta. We do have the online remote learning modality right now, but at some point I'm gonna have to come back into the classroom to teach at least one of my classes. I'm probably just gonna fly in once a week to be able to do that, if I'm honest, because things are slow out here, cheap, nice, my kids are thriving, and my mom and my dad are around the corner, so it's free baby care, you know, like who doesn't need free child support? If I had to go back, it'd pretty much be all on my own, and California is expensive, y'all. Expensive. Great question. My dad's from Dallas too. And so I hope your dad's a Dallas Cowboys fan. We could not touch the television in our household if there was a Cowboys game on. Awesome. Yes. All right. We have some Dallas Cowboys fans in the house. No shade to anybody else. Any other final questions? These ones were fun. Very good. All right, my friends, I don't know about you all, but I was all like nervous about starting the first day of class live, synchronized 9 a.m. I was concerned maybe people wouldn't show up, but y'all are here and we got ourselves settled in. I got to walk you through the modules, so you should be pretty familiar. If you find yourself getting stuck along the way, message me. All right. Again, I'm here for you all. I try to prevent kind of the stuff I've already answered in the syllabus, but if you need help to troubleshoot along the way, don't hesitate to reach out. And I'll hang out for a few more minutes just in case anybody wants to hang out, say hello, ask me some more questions, not in front of the group. Otherwise, I'll see you all next Monday, same time, 9 o'clock, and have a great week. And I hope you all do well. Bye.
Thanks, Doc.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doc. Have a good day.
Have a good one. Have a great